Hey guys, so you know what? I was just like having some almond milk and cinnamon, and something just came up to me because I know we're having this eclipse, this lunar solar new moon eclipse in Aries. And like things from when I was 21 years old just kind of came up out of nowhere. Probably as a review because there's like something hidden that's trying to reveal itself to me. So when I was 21 years old, I was invited to one of a friend of a friend's birthday parties at a nightclub that was owned by a Russian Jew. So they had a table going on there. There was like 20 to 40 people. And there was like pure Russian vodka on the table. It was like 70-80% Russian vodka. Okay? I can't believe I'm remembering this. So I actually pulled out a few cards to kind of confirm some vision or a feeling or a sensation that was coming up. And at that time, and even like friends or a friend that I had for like 10 years at that time who was there and literally ditched me because I ended up going to the emergency because what was in the vodka was actual pure diesel gas. I ended up in the hospital by myself. I got very sick. I remember I felt I was getting sick. People are like, come get up and dance. I couldn't. So I ran to the washroom, and the washrooms that they had there were so solid, the doors, like it could just break any bone. And I remember as I went to like kneel to pee, this girl, she was like, I had left the door slightly open because my head, everything didn't feel right. So I didn't feel right because it just didn't feel like a regular, feeling or sensation you get when you drink alcohol. It was like it hit me out of nowhere where I felt like, number one, I had to pee, I had to vomit, it felt like, but then I couldn't vomit. And it was like my head, it just felt like something was in the drink. It just felt and tasted and felt weird. Like poison, basically. So as I'm like kneeling and the door, or I had unlocked the door, I cannot remember. This was how many years ago? 15 years ago, literally. All of a sudden, as I'm wiping myself, my head is down. So the door is like this. The door is like slamming open and it hit me right in the nose. So freaking hard. My nose is bleeding. My nose broke. Okay, and because I'm poisoned and I have no idea I'm poisoned, they call the emergency. So I'm probably like traumatizing people with all my stories as of late because they're very intense stories. You have to understand, I was very silent when I was like a teenager, early 20s. I was expressive with everything except my personal problems or like anything that involved me and my emotions. I was just not, I would never talk about it. So I don't remember a thing because all I know is there's a bouncer or a guard or something. He's like, we're going to take care, we're going to make sure you're okay. I remember one of my friends freaking out. Apparently she told me after that I was screaming so freaking loud. It was like a horror. She goes, I can't get that out of my head. You screaming. She's like, Tally, she used to call me Tally. You're the strongest one in our group. You've always been so strong. Watching you in that position traumatized the shit out of me. These fucking bitches leave me alone in the emergency by myself. All these bitches leave me alone by myself. The emergency guy shows up. He's tying me to the fucking bed so I don't fall when they drive. And he goes, we can only allow one person in here. He goes, who should I call? And I told him. And he goes, all your friends left. She's not here. I hear him screaming her name. He goes, what kind of fucking friends do you have? They just ditch you? I'm like, are you kidding? I'm knocking out, right? I go to the emergency. I'm wearing a white dress. My hair was blonde. I'm flooded in my own blood. Okay? Head to toe. Everyone's staring at me. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm knocking out. I wake up. All of a sudden, I'm naked. There's wires everywhere on my body. I'm alone, as usual. I don't have a purse. I don't have money. I have no cell phone. I have nothing. Not even fucking ID, nothing. They're like, this nurse comes in, right? This nurse, she sees me, she's like, "Oh, you're up." And I'm like, "What the fuck happened to me?" I'm like looking around and I'm looking at all the wires on my chest and I'm like, "Fucking shit, I'm alive," you know? And I'm like, "Tal, you made it through another one. Like, I can't die." Because I remember recalling when I was a little girl, I literally believed I'd be dead by 16 years old. From 12 to like 16, 17, 18. Because all this life or death situations all the time would happen to me. Because basically, I was a fucking, born to be a witch. And it was like my higher self, the universe, waking me up to use my gifts. But I grew up in an Orthodox Armenian family. You think I had a guidebook? You think this shit was taught to me that it's Satan? You know what I mean? So they're like, the lady's like, they told me, the owner of the club told me that you were sniffing cocaine. She's like, but we didn't find cocaine in your body. So she's like, we deliberately checked your blood, everything. We did a check. There's no drugs in your body. I'm like, I don't fucking do cocaine. I'm like, is that what they said? She's like, they made shit up about you. And I was like, she's like, we found alcohol in your bloodstream, but you've been poisoned. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, there's poison in that vodka. By the way, I found out, it was in the news literally a week later at this event, that in the nightclubs and in the LCBOs in Ontario and Toronto at that time, the Russians from Russia, particularly Russian Jews, were putting in diesel in vodka and selling it to North America and Canada in particular to save money. And I happened to be one in a billion to drink it. So then I remember everybody's like, we gotta sue that nightclub for what they did to you and what happened to you. And the girl who hit me accidentally with the door, like slamming the door, it was this cute little Asian girl, okay? And she was illegally in there. She was only like 16 years old. This was a 21 and over club. The girl's birthday, oh my God, it's so much drama. Talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time, okay? With the wrong people. The girl who was having her birthday, she was going to UFT to be a psychologist. My other friend, UFT to be an English, an overall teacher in a Catholic district board, okay? 2 other psychologists, a nurse, and these are fucking people that left me there at the nightclub. And I remember there was this one Italian and Jewish girl, she was half Italian, half Jewish. She freaked the fuck out. She was like the only one that really cared. She was like, what kind of people would let this happen to you? And like, oh, because it's her birthday, so what? Hop in the freaking, what kind of psychologists and teachers are these people? Like, she was freaking out. And she, after the event, she was like, let's be friends. She's like, I'll come pick you up and here's my number. But I tried staying away from all of them. I met another friend, an Italian girl, and I literally cut majority of those people out. I saw them like once or twice, maybe 2-3 years down the road. Not all of them, just like 1 or 2 of them. But that's it. I had to cut that whole thing out. But it wasn't like a deliberate people doing it to me per se intentionally. It's just that I happened to be the one that it affected. Does this make sense? Because we all drank the same fucking vodka. Not every single one of us, but there was like 3 or 4 bottles. And I happened to be the one to drink from the beginning and the most from one particular vodka. So there was this one girl, I think she was like Dutch or something. She wasn't my friend, but she was a friend of a friend. Her boyfriend was like this Portuguese guy that knew this other like club party guy, I don't know what they're called anymore because this was a while ago, who liked me. He wasn't at this club, but he was another club. And he was like telling people, oh, I'm so into Talad. He was this Assyrian Chaldean guy. I'm so into her, like I want to make her like my girlfriend and everything. And I was like, no, I don't take people at nightclubs serious, okay? If you're going to be at a nightclub and I met you there, there's a high chance if I get into a relationship with you, you're going to have side chicks. You're going to be leaving and going to other nightclubs. No, I'm not mixing. Sorry, it's not happening. And because I said this girl, Kira, said I got hit in the face Because I got this Kira girl. She's just like, yeah, tell her she got her karma for what she said about, I don't even remember his name, man, about that guy at the nightclub. I'm like, first of all, where your mind's at. She's laughing because I got karma, according to her. And I remember my friend after was like, oh my God, she believes you got karma for that. And I'm like, some people. And these are nurses, psychologists, and teachers. You know, these things, they wake you up. So I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to win if we take these people to court because they're billionaires. But what happened was 2 months later, the club shut down. Do you believe that? That club shut down and they lost all their fucking money. And it was on the news that they lost over $1 million anyway. So I wanted to do a tarot reading about this, which I did. And why I wanted to do tarot reading is because when something falls down... All right, so back to what I was saying. After like 15-20 minutes of me laying there in the hospital and I'm laughing to myself that I'm still alive and I'm shocked because I blacked out too, so I thought I was dead. What do I know, right? I'm unconscious at this point. So all I see is my friend. She shows up at the hospital with my purse and my money and all my cards, like credit cards and like banking and social insurance and everything, and my cell phone. And she's like, I needed to make sure I had your bag. I'm like, where the flip were you? And she's like, it's a very long story. I'm so sorry. It is horrible. I can't believe, but she's like, I had to make sure like I kept everything and whatever. Anyhow, I think I'm making this video for people who are like a little bit more consciously aware of spirituality and just energy and quantum physics, and like people who are like into energy and like witches or who feel like they have a calling. You have to understand, I think I used to have a poster on top of my bed that year. It was a girl with the same color hair, length as mine, wearing a white dress that grew fangs and had blood coming down her dress and her face because she had turned into a vampire. I literally aligned into that energy. Okay, and it was like kind of like years of kind of like waking me up to my true power, that I always had the power within, not to seek without, not to seek validation. And I don't know if I should keep this video short because I could go very in detail with it. And okay, just as a reminder, not that it matters, but it kind of somewhat does. I'm a Taurus, right? According to Western astrology. The girl, Claudia, the Polish girl that was having the birthday party, she was a Pisces. Jennifer, who was my friend, my closest friend there, she was a Sagittarius. The girl who said, Kira, that I got karma, was an Aries. I can't believe I remember. The girl who was so like upset at what happened to me, who was half Italian, half Jewish, and wanted to be like super close to me after that and telling me how fake everybody was and how she's questioning their integrity. How the fuck are these people turning into psychologists and teachers? She was a Scorpio. The only real one, let me tell you. Okay, so I wanted to do a reading on this, and I don't know, I just feel like there's a few people watching me that can resonate with the messages that I need to deliver. Either they've gotten alcohol poisoning or some fucked up shit has happened to them where they realized friends are not friends, even though I knew they're not my friends, but whatever. So I got the Two of Cups. This is the Fountain Tarot reading card deck, okay? I got the Two of Cups, which is very much symbolic of us drinking. And this is how the nightclub actually looked inside. Just very like starry and the Hermit. The Hermit is basically me always being a loner as I am now. You have to understand something, like whatever kind of like associates or friends that I've had, they've always flocked to me. So like I've always been a leader to them or to people. And then we've got the Emperor card, and this is actually symbolic of like Aries and Taurus and such. But I think it's more Aries, depends on the deck. But I kind of feel like I realized though just how powerful I was, because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten knocked out in my life and I'm fucking still alive. That's how I had my nose broken. I used to have such a pretty nose, guys. Like this, it wasn't like this. My nose is swollen. So I was supposed to have a nose revision. What they did is they just put my bone back in order, because this, it was like that and it used to move. So I didn't want to have surgery, but then my doctor was yelling at me. He's like, you have to have surgery because your nose is bleeding. We can try to cauterize it, but your nose is like this, you know? And so it swelled. So when I was recovering, they're like, we got to do a needle, like something or whatever. But my nose wasn't like this. It used to be a lot. Like I really realized how powerful that I was. Like, think about it. When I'm thinking about how I felt when I was drinking, it didn't make sense because the poisoning literally hit me after like 5 minutes in a sense of I was fine. I was feeling fine. But it came out of nowhere where it was like, I'm not drunk. There's something else wrong. Something was wrong. Do you get what I mean? So what I want to say is, usually when something really bad happens, something good is about to happen, or it's like the bad, and I don't want to give reason to why things happen that are bad, but really, there really is a reason after or during, or that certain people have a higher calling, man, and that like not to be allowing yourself to surround yourself with people who just are fucking less than you. And I remember that half Italian, half Jewish girl, she was like, we're so similar, like we're the only real ones here. And Jennifer was all getting jealous, the Sagittarius from the Scorpio, and she's like, no, she's just trying to like make us an enemy or whatever. And I'm like, how about I just stay away from everyone and choose myself, literally. So the Three of Cups basically shows that there was a party celebration going on, right? And then look what appears with the celebration. The fucking devil. Literally. The fucking devil card with the celebration. So the presence of the devil was literally there the entire time. And then even matters worse, look at this. It was the Emperor first, right? So it was like this. Emperor looking at the three. So the freaking devil made his mark. Perhaps that was me being kind of rearranged to because anytime I tried to associate with them or even go to a club, and even though I was never a nightclub type of person, I never liked it. I had to like, it wasn't me. Just being around these people who are dancing and sweating all over. But my friends would try to make me go and whatever. And these are people that are like, fucking almost in their late 30s. They are in their late 30s and they're still living this life. I can't live like that, you know? It's just the energy changed for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like sometimes you have to go through the devil in order to really know how angelic or pure, innocent you are. And first of all, what the hell is Talia doing at nightclubs? I'm not the type of girl. And this Jennifer friend of mine, this Italian Egyptian girl, was always obsessed with me going, oh, Talia, I want to have fun. I want you to be there. I want you to be there. I want you to be there. It's not the same without you. Okay. So Ace of Cups, this is the abundant flow of love, spiritual protection. That's what happened, man. I learned about myself. And I think sometimes when life and death situations happen to us and we're still alive, spiritual protection, energetic support, we learn about the abundance about ourselves, abundance and the beauty of everything around us, or we become more attuned into it if we don't go the wrong way. You know what I mean? This is the competition of all the girls feeling the need to compete with each other because insecure little girls do that, you know? And I got out of that Just felt like high school. And now we've got the fountain card in order to close this tarot card deck reading, tarot deck of something that happened 21, I think 15, 16, 15 years ago. My goodness gracious, okay? This is the infinity sign. Do you want to call that karma? Maybe it's the karma of what I'm reaping still now. Maybe it's the infinity of we are eternal beings. And look at all this spiritual protection. This is consciousness and awareness, people. We are coming to that. And I know I have these older videos from like 2015, 16. Go watch it, where I have the Himalayan salt lamp and it looks kind of reddish with my red walls when I had short hair. Tinted the videos. Go watch them. I'm giving more details of like all this life and death shit that I used to go through. So these are all, what's interesting though, like shortly after, I mean, all my life and all those friends that I had, I was like their little counselor, advisor, from being psychic to like relationship advisor, all of them, and psychologist for all of them. Even the psychologist, the girl Claudia, it was her birthday after that, she picked me up one day. She's like, let's talk. So we drove up and we had some coffee. Then I went to her house, house in Vaughan or Woodbridge, Ontario. And she was telling me how she has a stepsister from another father that the mother had, or mother, I can't recall which side. And she was just like, I want you to tell me, because the fact that I'm trying to be a psychologist and you're still alive and I just feel like a fool that I wasn't there for you. And just the strength that you have, she was saying to me, Tella, like, it woke me. I don't know, I think I realized after that how jealous these girls were of me, because it's like they couldn't even deal with like one little period that they would have. They couldn't deal with that. Meanwhile, the way I would carry myself, start laughing and giggling right after, it would freak them out. Where does the strength come from? Like, this is otherworldly strength and powers. That they would look at me like, she's a fucking natural born witch. Remember, at that time, it wasn't socially normal to be considered a witch the way it is now. Like how you see all over series and people weren't practicing thing in the open where it was accepted. Now it's accepted, but at that time, no. And I wasn't even openly doing anything like that. Anyhow, I was like growing up in a Christian cultural frickin'. So moral of the story is pay attention to where you are in your own path right now. Where are you right now? Where are you with your friends? Oh my God, I just remembered something. That same day, I was actually watching The Good Witch and Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Twitch. Fuck, I've always been a witch, right? But I was just like never coming out. So what was her name? I think her name is Dolores. The Green-Eyed Witch. I used to love her. She definitely brought me into worshiping Hecate at that time. Well, not really worshiping, but being like pulled into this calling. Ever since her, I can't connect with anybody else that would say she's a witch. Not the way she, look her up on YouTube. She died a few years back. But in a car crash, but rest her spirit. But yeah, where are you right now? Not only are you reviewing, not only is this a time to review your life and where you are, but it's the time to get clear and straightforward.